What a beautiful day to start Green Healing Show with this beautiful woman. Her name is Vanessa Nixon, Traditional Naturopath, Herbalist, and Homeopath. We're going to talk about menopause. So be with us till the end. If you want to subscribe to my channel, Ponto Calhoun the Transition by Ponto Calhoun, please do because you get a lot of notification for new interviews. Be with us, and if you have any question, please join us and ask. Welcome to my show, Vanessa. I can't wait to start this interview because I know this is one of the questions for so many people who are very close to menopause are getting depressed because they think they lose their sex drive, they can't properly manage their life, they think something is going to happen to their body, hot flashes and all of the signs. So we're going to go deeper and talk about this. Welcome, and please let us know about yourself.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here speaking with you today. Well, thank you for that lovely introduction. And I am a traditional naturopath. I focus on nutritional healing and herbal medicine, flower essences, homeopathy, and I really am passionate about helping women to navigate the menopausal journey feeling really vibrant, energetic, healthy, and vital because I believe that this time, this phase of our lives can actually be the most powerful and impactful phase that we have. And so, stepping into this chapter, feeling really empowered and confident is really critical to being able to, live out your passions and your dreams.
So, menopause is one of the issues that people saying things that they just feel a lot of symptoms, and they feel that they sex drive is gone, and they cannot perform, they don't have enough energy to manage their life. So are they facts or they are not? Can they, let's say if somebody have a breakup and want to start another sex life after menopause, is that possible or not?
Yes, absolutely. What you said is very common. There are a lot of symptoms um, that you can experience during your menopausal journey, and there are also so many wonderful natural ways to address anything that is going on in your body so that you can go through this phase feeling really healthy, feeling really energetic, having a wonderful sex life, feeling really wonderful in your body. And one of the critical factors that I see is that women are focused on the fact that their reproductive hormones are fluctuating. Estrogen and progesterone, as we know, start to decrease and during perimenopause, and they can fluctuate for a number of years, up to 10 years or so. Women can be in perimenopause and not even know it really. But they can be experiencing some symptoms with these fluctuations, especially if they are not eating the healthiest diet, if they're not doing a lot of proper self-care, taking care of themselves, listening to the messages their body is sending them, and addressing those messages, then we can see a lot of symptoms come up. And so, so one of the critical things is to cultivate your intuition, cultivate that connection with your body, with your inner knowing, so that when your body starts sending you these messages, you're hearing them and you're listening and you know what your body's saying so that you can give it what it needs. And and again, going back to this focus on estrogen and progesterone, while it's true that those hormones do start to fluctuate and do start to decrease, the real key that I have found is that we need to focus on the master hormones. These reproductive hormones are minor hormones, and if you're just focusing on trying to balance those, you're not getting the whole picture. You're not seeing the big picture. So when we look at the big picture, we see that cortisol, which is one of our master hormones, that affects all the other hormones. So if we can get cortisol in line, if we can get our cortisol to be balanced, which, as you know, is the stress hormone, then it'll have a trickle down effect and it will help to balance out all the other hormones. So really looking at cortisol and understanding where we're having stress in our lives and how to manage that stress, how to decrease that stress, how to use stress reduction techniques to manage the cortisol. And then the other hormones will start balancing out if we really focus on our stress, and including stress reduction techniques in your life on a daily basis is really critical during this phase, because as women, we do have a lot more stress in our lives during the menopausal phase of life for a number of reasons. Number one, because our bodies are changing, so that that causes internal stress. But what I find is that this phase of life um, lends itself to a lot of external shifts as well. Many women are experiencing changes in their relationships, whether relationships are ending or new relationships are beginning. We have changes in careers. So many women are either leaving the workforce or re-entering the workforce, or becoming entrepreneurs, or creating new work projects. Um, and women may have changes within their family structure. Um, Children may be going out on their own. They may be empty nesters. They may be taking care of aging parents. So there's so many different things that are going on. And then besides that, we have the conditioning that um, our society conditions us from the time that we're very small to think that menopause is this big, huge, terrible thing that's going to happen to us at some point in our lives, and that it's the beginning of the end. Like everything's going to be downhill from there. And so
Exactly.
yeah, we have this dread, right? We have this dread as we are getting older and more mature. We have this dread, like what's going to happen to my body? And some women really even feel like they don't know their body anymore, or they have this fear of losing their minds because they've heard of brain fog and memory loss and all of these symptoms. And so women are sometimes very frightened and are dreading this period of life. But what I really want women to know is that there are so many different ways, and so many of them are natural ways and modalities and methods and tools and techniques that we can use to make sure that we are addressing whatever comes up, and that we are reducing our stress. We're eating healthy. We're using herbs and flower essences and other natural modalities that actually will help us to reduce, or even eliminate any of those symptoms that we are going through, because this is a natural and normal stage of life that we all not only must go through, but I believe that this stage of life is not just happening to us, it's happening for us. I feel like there's so much power in it. It's a very potent time where we really get to focus on ourselves, sometimes for the first times in our lives, we're actually focused on ourselves instead of everybody else. And we can bring out our gifts and all the wisdom that we've gained through our lives and really make an impact on the world.
Yeah, Vanessa, you actually refer to something interesting about the cortisol because I'm functional medicine educator, and for myself, when I was and I also had asthma. I went to doctor and said I'm gonna like medical doctor. I said I'm gonna see my cortisol level, and he said you don't need this because this is the hormone. Nobody care about it.
Mm,
You never go through the hormone panel to see your cortisol unless you do the functional test to exactly see how the range should be.
mhm, mhm.
So for the cortisol, as I'm saying, cortisol is a basic of your body, like because if your cortisol is very low, you go to exhaustive mode and you feel very exhausted. And I see it in many chronic disease. I've seen it in secondary infertility, even in infertility, which can be resolved and is not something that you just say, oh, that's it. You can't do anything about it. So you are right, but there are a lot of stressors. Is not only external. You may have a lot of imbalances in your body. Let's say if you have a chronic disease, or if you are suffering from something for a long term, it's the best time to go over your body, your whole body, to see what is imbalance, what you can find any healing opportunity in your body. Because the problem is, as you said, people thinking that estrogen and progesterone. No, before we start this interview, we also talk about testosterone, which in women is very low. The range is much lower than men, and the same with progesterone, estrogen in men, comparing with women. But these are the hormones that you have to think about it. So you should have some amount of testosterone, and we also talk about orgasm. That's actually really helpful in even bring it orgasm even after menopause, right?
Absolutely, yes. I find that that is definitely an area of concern for a lot of women. It's like, what is my sex life going to be like after menopause? Is it just going to be done? Am I going to be able to enjoy sex? Is it going to be uncomfortable? And, some women definitely do have some symptoms of vaginal dryness, low libido, and painful intercourse. So that definitely can happen. But again, it's a symptom that there are things that are out of balance in your body, and these are messages that your body's sending you. It's saying, look, we need to address this area of your body, and there's so many things that we can do. Again, starting with stress reduction, getting your cortisol balanced so that that can have a trickle down effect and help to balance your reproductive hormones, is going to be the biggest impact that you can make on your health. And we can do that not only through, meditation and mindfulness and those kinds of stress reduction techniques. We can do it through movement, and I know that a lot of women are also really concerned about, putting on extra weight during menopause. And so they decide, okay, I'm just going to exercise twice as much and twice as hard and twice as often. But what happens then is that your cortisol goes up because that puts so much more stress on your body. So that's not generally the best course of action for women in the menopausal phase. But movement, daily movement, especially natural movement, is the key component, not only for healthy weight, but also for keeping your juices flowing, for keeping yourself feeling really vital and energetic and sexy. And one of my favorite ways to move, which I also consider a meditation and a sacred practice and a stress reduction technique, is belly dance. I'm a professional belly dance instructor as well, and I've been belly dancing since I was quite young. And what I find is that women who use um, movement practices such as belly dance, or for other women, it could be yoga or some other form of natural movement that keeps you flexible and keeps your body supple and moving, can really um, can really affect not only your health in general, but how sensual you feel, and it can affect your libido, and it can affect how juicy you are. It especially the belly dance, because so much of the movement is focused in the pelvic area. It keeps a lot of blood flow going to that area. And so there are many things like that that you can do to ensure that your sex life doesn't suffer during menopause. In fact, many women find that they have the best sex of their lives after they've gone through menopause.
So, how can we um, reduce the symptoms like hot flashes, vaginal dryness? How can we help ourselves feel
Mhm.
better before and after menopause or during menopause?
Yeah, that's a great question. And again, we kind of have to go back to the basics, back to those stress reduction techniques, and then the diet. I know that it sounds simple, but that old cliche, you are what you eat, it really is true. And there are, I don't personally believe that there is one best diet. I believe that everybody's individual. And again, you need to really tap into your own intuition and inner knowing so that you can be driving your own health choices. But in general, I think that most people really should be eating more vegetables. More people should be eating as much of their food organic as possible, making sure that you're well hydrated. This is a big one for a lot of women, even though we know that we need to be drinking a lot of water. Um, we're so busy. We're so busy during this time of our lives. And because so much is going on internally in our bodies, we need to be even that much more aware of making sure we're well hydrated. And one way to do that that is really effective is making sure that we are drinking lots of medicinal herbal teas throughout the day so we can get that hydration, but we can also get the medicinal benefits. And so, depending on your specific situation, there are different medicinal teas that you could be taking for your symptoms. Like if you are experiencing hot flashes, for instance, you might want to be hydrating yourself with herbal teas with cooling herbs like chickweed and elderflower and mint or hibiscus. And if you are experiencing brain fog, you might want to include some herbs that have an affinity to helping your brain and cognition, like rosemary or ashwagandha or gotu kola, things like that. If what you're experiencing is insomnia, you could be adding herbs to your daily teas, things like skullcap or passion flower or hops or valerian. There's so many different choices, and there are a lot of different ways that you can combine these herbs into a formula that is uniquely suited to you and what your body is asking for.
Yeah, as you say, there is no any general diet, because every, like for myself, I see, for my fertility clients, I see all of them have their own constitution, and they may be fast oxidizer or slow oxidizer that have different style. Like some of them cannot have so many vegetables, like they're more their body accept more meat or
Mm.
protein. Like, so you have to find your own constitution, find your balance to see which diet is much more like you can fit on that diet. But there are some general things, as you said, like processed food, or maybe just dairy product, which completely agree that is not really good for your body, especially because usually we cannot find a grass fed uh, um, milk, like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, there are lots of controversial dispute around this area. But to my body, I found I totally removed dairy product from my diet. I feel much better because it cause a lot of inflammation.
Yeah, and so it's really important to, again, be in touch with your body and know, which foods are helping you to feel healthier and which foods are not. And if you are not in touch, if you're not listening to the messages your body's sending you, then you can't know that.
Interesting, Vanessa. Some people try to force themselves to eat something which they think it's good for their body, but is not, because what they eat, your body doesn't like it, right? So
Mhm.
let's say mango is good. It has a lot of vitamin, but for myself, I just realized that it gave me inflammation, so I remove it. So tomato, mango. So you have to see exactly. You don't force your body to eat something which is not good for you, or you don't like it at all.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yes.
and that's why I say there's no one best diet, because if you outline a diet and say, "Okay, everybody should be eating all of these foods," then they're going to say, "Okay, I'm going to eat all these foods," and then they don't understand why they're not improving their health, and they're
Yes.
not listening to themselves, they're not listening to their bodies, they're just allowing other people's opinions to take precedence over their own intuition.
And
So
another thing, there are a lot of things related to your health, like gut. If your gut is not healthy, you have leaky gut, so you cannot actually absorb the same nutrition you expect to. Or if your body cannot detoxify the way it should, again, whatever you eat, it doesn't work for you. So that's why you need the whole system to be checked and see what is the
absolutely.
blocker. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love the fact that you brought up the gut, because that's one of the first things that I address with my clients. No matter what the issue is, I always start with the gut, because, as you said, you can be eating the healthiest diet, but if your body can't assimilate the nutrients in that diet, then it does you no good. And so you need to really make sure that your gut is working well, and so that you can assimilate what you're eating. And you also, the second thing that I usually address is the liver, because of the fact that during menopause, the liver is often sluggish and overloaded, because the
Mm.
liver not only helps to detoxify everything that you consume, but it also metabolizes the hormones. And we've already
Wow.
spoken about how your hormones can be fluctuating, and we can have a lot of cortisol going through our bodies. So that puts extra stress on our liver. So
I
we
like,
really need to focus on being really kind and loving and nourishing to our livers to help it do its job better.
wow. Vanessa actually has a lot of certification. I couldn't actually bring everything here, but you can go to her website. She has also a Facebook page and Instagram page. Her website is www.herbsofgracehealings
Healing
gracehealingarts.com.
arts.
Yes. What do you have on your website exactly?
So on my website, I have information on natural health. I have three branches of my business:
Wow,
natural health, natural beauty, and natural movement. And so, what I like to offer to my clients is how to weave all of those things together to create a really strong, healthy, natural foundation for a really vital, vibrant life. And so, you can find information on all of the things I offer in those three areas on my website.
beautiful. And
And I
she's,
also just wanted to mention, I do have a free gift on my
uh-huh,
website
thanks.
for women who might be experiencing some of those symptoms, and, you can sign up right on the first page of my website if you would like that gift.
I love free gifts. Do you want to add one sentence for women who are going to menopause? Give them some hope, or go ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just wanna reiterate that this phase of life can absolutely be the most powerful and potent time of your life to be able to step forward into the life that you want, the life you desire, and the life that you want to create for yourself.
Thank you so much for being here, Vanessa. Hope if you have any problem with the menopause or you are getting some symptoms, go and check her website. You can book a confirmation consultation, I mean, complimentary consultation with her, and hopefully you don't have the symptoms anymore. Thank you for
Wonderful.
being here. Yeah,
Thanks so much for having me.
thank you. Please subscribe to Fanta Calho Transition channel and order my book The Gap in Amazon. Thank you for watching.